Hello lovelies, and welcome back to another video. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited that you've come across my channel. Today I have a really fun tutorial and review for you using the ColourPop X The Grinch palette. This is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It is so cute. I'm so excited that they have already released a Christmas palette and we are just looking forward to the fun of the holidays. So I'm really excited to show you how I created this look today. I'm definitely getting into this Grinchy spirit. I've got this sweatshirt that I picked up. It says Up to No Good. I got this from Cracker Barrel recently. It is so warm, so soft and cuddly. Maybe not quite like the Grinch, but it is the perfect sweatshirt for this time of year and to go along with this beautiful palette. So I'm really excited to share this tutorial with you. So let's go ahead and get started. So come along with me and let's make up the rules. I'd like to start out the video just taking a look at the beautiful packaging on this palette. It is so gorgeous. It just has a lot of texture to it, especially, I don't know if you can see on the video right here on his hat on the white parts. It's got some glitter and it's got a little bit of texture to it. I just think it is so cute. It is beautifully designed. It really pops and it just has such a cute just picture of the Grinch. And I love just the title of it, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's just so true to the book. It's just perfect for this palette. I think that's just the kind of main piece out of everything in the collection. So I think it's really nice and it really stands out. Here on the back, we do have all of the shade colors, a name, and another cute picture of the Grinch. And this is the outer packaging when you take it out of the sleeve. The palette itself looks exactly the same. It's got all of the same details. It even has the same texture on his hat and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and take out the little plastic sleeve so we can take a look at these colors. And then here is our color story. It is so pretty. I love all of the kind of fall vibes and colors, all the pinks and everything. And then these two pops of green right here are absolutely stunning, perfect for the Grinch. I love the packaging up here. It says the Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. It is so cute. It is perfect for this palette and for this collection. So I'm really excited just to dive in, take some swatches, and create a tutorial using this gorgeous color story. So let's go ahead and dive into those swatches. To take the swatches, I'm gonna go ahead and roll up my sleeve, and then we are gonna start out looking at this first row right here. And so the first shade on this row is called Cindy Lou Who. And this is a nice, beautiful pink, kind of iridescent shade. That is really pretty. It definitely catches in the light. Try to build it up just a little bit more for us. Just a nice light kind of pink shimmer to it. The next shade is called Merry Very. It's a nice light pink shade. It is very light on my skin tone for sure. You can see it, but it is definitely very light. The next one is called Mount Crumpet. Another really pretty kind of iridescent shimmery shade. It kind of looks white in the pan, but it's got a little bit more of a green reflect on the skin. It's right here. The next one is called Roast Beast. Look at that right there. And that one's a little bit darker than that Merry Very shade. It's a little bit more brown leaning or kind of tan leaning. And then the last shade on this row is called Stolen Stockings. That is a nice, pretty kind of iridescent pink shimmer shade. The shimmers are really pretty. They are very light, but they are really pretty, and definitely all the shades on this top row are very light. So let's go ahead and start digging into a little bit of deeper colors looking at the second row. Now we're going to be looking at these shades here across this row. The first one is called Max. This one definitely is starting to get a little bit darker and a little deeper on our palette. That's a really pretty shade. The next one is called Tinsel. And this one is kind of a very light purpley shade. And it's got some iridescence to it also. It's a nice pretty shimmer. Ooh, that's really pretty in the light. The next one is the one I'm the most excited about, of course, the namesake Mr. Grinch. This nice light green shade. That is so pretty already. Oh yeah, that is so gorgeous. I love that shade so much. That is really, really pretty. I'm gonna build it up just a little bit more. That is stunning. I cannot wait to use that shade. The next one is going to be called Stolen Presents. And this one kind of looks a little bit like a multi-chrome in the pan. Kind of got a little bit of purple, a little bit of green. I think you can definitely kind of see a little bit of a shift to it. It's really just a very pretty shimmer, so that's really nice. Kind of a nice deep shimmer for this palette. And then the last shade on this second row is called Ribbons and Bows. And that one is really pretty. It's got kind of a nice kind of pinky shade to it, almost slightly coral. Really, really pretty. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the last row of this palette. So now we're gonna take a look at these shades right here on the third row, definitely the deepest, the darkest, and the most fall vibe. So I'm really excited to try these out. The first one is called Who's Cheer? Ooh, that's really pretty. That is stunning. Now we're gonna take a look at the next shade. This one is called Who Pudding. And this one is just slightly lighter than that last shade, and it definitely got a little bit of sparkle in it. I'm not sure if you can see. I think you can. Right there. That's real pretty. The next one is a nice deep green shade. This one is called Cuddly as a Cactus. That is really pretty. It's got a really nice shift to it. Nice and pretty green. I like it kind of goes from real dark to really light as you turn it in the light. That's really nice. The next one is called Stink Stink Stunk. And this is going to be our deepest shade in the whole palette. Nice beautiful fall kind of plummy brown. That is gorgeous. And then the last shade in this palette is called Santa Claus. Wow, that is really pretty. Got a nice sheen to it, kind of almost a little bit reddish, a little bit kind of that maroon color that we're seeing in the rest of the palette. So that is our full color story. It is so pretty, it is so shimmery. I love how it goes from really light to really dark throughout the palette, so you have a lot of really fun mattes and shimmers to play with and kind of create different looks and be able to just really combine things together. So this is the color story. I think it is really, really pretty. I cannot wait to go ahead and dive into our tutorial. To get started on the tutorial, I went ahead and primed my eyes with my Ulta Beauty Pigment Pop Eye Primer. And then I'm gonna go in with another Ulta Beauty Fluffy Blending Brush. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and for this tutorial, I'm gonna do kind of a smoky eye with some of these nice deep kind of brownish and kind of purplish colors as sort of maroons. And then I really wanna go in with the greens and really have a nice pop of color, match my earrings. And so I'm gonna use probably both of those green shimmers. So I'm really excited to go ahead and dive in. I think I'm gonna start out with this shade right here, Merry Very, and go ahead and use this sort of as a transition shade, just nice and light across the crease. I'm just gonna pop some of this all the way across my eyelid and just kind of blend it in just a little bit. When I did swatch it, it was very, very light on my skin tone, so I'm not expecting a lot of color payoff. I just wanna have just a nice light base as I'm getting started, just to add a little bit of color, and then we can build up from here. So very, very light, but we're gonna go ahead and deepen that up a little bit. I'm gonna go in next with Roast Beast. And this one, when I swatched it, definitely was a little bit darker. So I'm gonna just go ahead and build up that Merry Very color with this one and just go ahead and kind of darken up the crease and create a little bit more of that transition. That is really pretty. Now I think I'm gonna go in with Max and probably deepen up the crease just a little bit more. Just very lightly pick some of this up on my brush. And definitely we're starting to see a little bit more pigment and a little bit more color on the crease. So again, just kind of layering those shades on top of each other and building them up. Next, I want to start deepening up this outer corner. So I'm going to go into this shade right here. This one was called Ribbons and Bows. And putting this on the outer half of my crease and starting to deepen up the outer corner. That is really pretty. We're definitely starting to see a little bit more of that pigment showing up and definitely getting a darker outer corner. And so let's go ahead and continue to deepen things up with this shade down here. This one was called Who's Cheer. That is really pretty. It is definitely blending in very nicely with the other shades and really starting to give a lot more depth to this look. Very, very pretty. Next, I'm gonna go in with this shade here. This one was called Stink, Stink, Stunk. And this again is our deepest shade in the palette. So I'm gonna go ahead and just finish up my little outer corner smoky eye that I'm creating and just smoke it out with this one. Give it just a nice deep depth to it. That is so, so pretty. That is the perfect fall smoky eye. It is really, really pretty and all of those shades work together really well. So I do want to go ahead and add some shimmer to the eyelid. And like I said, I just want to play with these greens. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put some green shimmer on the eye. I think it'll be really pretty. It'll be a nice pop and a very unexpected look. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my eye and then we'll go ahead and jump into some of these green shimmers. I went ahead and primed my eyes with my NYX glitter primer, and then I'm going to go in with an ULTA brush. This is just a flat eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to go ahead and go in with this deepest green down here. This one was called Cuddly as a Cactus, and I'm just going to grab some of this on my brush, and I'm going to put this right in the center of my eyelid, kind of blending a little bit towards that smoky eye on the outer corner. That is so pretty on the eye. It really catches the light very well. Very, very pretty, and it's very stunning with these darker kind of rosier colors, that kind of maroon shade. So that is really, really pretty. Definitely a nice blend with the other shades. The shimmer formula is beautiful. It's got a nice, beautiful kind of sheen to it in the light. Very, very pretty. I'm going to build that up just a little bit more and keeping all of this just right in the center of my eyelid, and then we're going to use that Mr. Grinch shade as we're moving towards the inner corner. That is really pretty. I'm going to go ahead and clean off my brush and then we're going to jump in with that next green shade. So this one here, it is so, so stunning. It's that beautiful light shimmery green. I'm going to go ahead and pop this right here, kind of blending into that Cuddly as a Cactus shade, creating just a nice kind of ombre effect across the eyelid. There we go. Really building it up with our shimmers. That is really pretty. Those look beautiful next to each other, and definitely want to just kind of softly blend them together as they meet, so we don't have a harsh line in between. They just kind of blend into one another. That is really, really stunning. They're beautiful green shimmers. It does take a little bit more to build up this shade. I've got to kind of pick some up and just kind of work it until it gets the color payoff that I want and just kind of that light green shimmer that I want. Just a little bit of fallout there. It is very, very pretty. Those look really, really beautiful together. Very, very pretty. Those are beautiful green shimmers. They catch in the light really well, and they shift and they change. I'm gonna go back into that Cuddly as a Cactus shade just a little bit and just make sure that we didn't lose any of it as we were blending together. Just kind of go right back over top the center of the eyelid where we were before. That is so pretty. I absolutely love those green shimmers. So right over here on the edge where we've kind of got this line between the green and the smoky eye that we made, I'm gonna go in with this shade right here, that Santa Claus. And I'm just gonna pick a little bit of this up on my finger and just go ahead and kind of blend that right along that edge, just so that way the shimmer kind of blends into the mattes and there's not really kind of a stark difference between the two, so it'll just kind of pop right there next to that Cuddly as a Cactus shade, and just very gently just kind of blending it with my finger into that green shade and into those mattes, so it's just got a nice even transition. That is really pretty. That definitely makes a big difference just to be able to kind of have that transition between the two shades. I really like the shimmers across the top of the eyelid, but I do think I want them to have a little bit more of a pop to them, a little bit more of a glow. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. This one was Cindy Lou Who. I'm just gonna pick some of this up on my finger and go ahead and just kind of pat it across the top of the eyelid just to create a little bit more dimension to this look. So I'm just gonna pat this right across those other shimmers, kind of just add sort of a topper shade just to give them a little more of a glow, and also just to kind of create cohesion across the eyelid. You can definitely see it just adds a little extra shimmer and a little extra just kind of color to the look. Because it is not quite Christmas yet, I did feel like adding those colors that I added and putting that Santa Claus on the outside, it definitely kind of gave a red and green vibe, and that wasn't exactly what I was going for. So I just want to break that up just a little bit and just kind of create a little less of a Christmassy vibe. That is really pretty. I really love that as a topper shade. That adds so much life to this look and so much shimmer to the eyelid. Now for the lower lash line, I'm gonna go in with a Ulta Beauty kind of flat liner brush, and I'm gonna go in with this more pink shade here. This one was Ribbons and Bows, and I'm just gonna pick some up on the end of my brush, and I'm just gonna go ahead and line this all the way underneath my waterline. And blend it up into that outer corner just a little bit. That is a nice, beautiful light base. Now I want to start darkening it up just a little bit. So I'm going to go back in with this dark shade here. This one was called Who's Cheer. And same process, just pick some of this up on the end of my brush, and I'm going to take it under the waterline right on top of that other shade and just kind of gently blend it in. I'm gonna put most of the product here on the outer corner, and then it's gonna get lighter as it goes in, as I'm just losing product on my brush. I'm just gonna let that naturally blend into that Ribbons and Bows shade. And just making sure that I'm pulling this up into the outer corner as well, just blending everything together. Now I do wanna deepen this up just a little bit more on the very outer corner, so I'm gonna go back in with that deepest shade. Again, this one was Stink Stink Stunk. And just going to put this very gently right here, kind of in this outer corner, and just blending it up into that outer corner on the top of the eyelid. Just making sure I don't have a stark line, just kind of blending it in with my brush, and then pulling it down just a little bit into the lower lash line. I'm going to darken this up just a little bit so it's a little more cohesive. Just very gently with the excess product, just kind of blending it across. That is really, really pretty. I do want to add just a little bit more shimmer to the lower lash line. So I went ahead and cleaned off that brush we were using, and now I'm going to go in with this shade right here. This one was called Stolen Presents. I'm just gonna pick some of this up on the end of my brush. This is a nice, beautiful shimmer shade. And I'm gonna grab just a little bit of setting spray, give it a quick spritz, and then I'm gonna put this along the lower lash line right here, bumping into those matte shades that we just applied. That is so stunning. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go in with one last shade for our inner corner and our brow bone highlight, and that's gonna be this nice iridescent shade here. This one was called Mount Crumpet. So I'm just gonna pick some of this up on my brush, and again, I'm just gonna give it a little spritz of setting spray to really give it a nice pop of color when we apply it. And just go ahead and put it right here on the inner corner. And just kind of blend it up and down into the other shades we've applied. That is really, really pretty. It is very light and iridescent. It's got just a hint of green in it, of course, for this palette. So it is really, really stunning on the eye. That is gorgeous. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this also in the brow bone here, along the brow bone. That is so light and iridescent. I absolutely love that shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop off camera, add some liner, some mascara, and then we'll be back and we'll take a look at the final look. And here's the final look. I think this turned out so beautifully. I absolutely love how this looked. For my eyeliner, I went in with my Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Liquid Liner in Ultra Black, and then I tight lined on the top with my Ulta Beauty Collection Automatic Eyeliner in Matte Black. And then for the waterline on the bottom, I did want to go in with an extra little bit of green just because this is such a green look. It's so Grinchy. So I went ahead and used just a very light green. This is Ulta Beauty Collection Color Punch Automatic Eyeliner. This is in the shade Majestic Mint. So it's just a nice light minty shade and adds just a little bit of extra unexpected pop of green on the bottom. And then for my mascara, I went in with my Man Eater Waterproof mascara. This is one of my favorites from Tarte. So I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I'm absolutely loving all of the shimmers. The green is beautiful. It is so perfect for this Grinchy palette. So I want to share just a few of my initial thoughts about this palette with you, and then we'll wrap up the video. I really enjoyed using the ColourPop Grinch palette. I think it is absolutely beautiful. The packaging is so stunning. It's so shiny and perfect for Christmas. It's absolutely the perfect nod to the Grinch. And I love just the imagery on the back and everything. And then the color story, I think they did a phenomenal job on this palette. I think the colors are really, really pretty. They're very light and definitely capture kind of Whoville and the Cindy Lou Who characters, just being able to really see just kind of that light pink shade, but then of course also capturing the essence of the Grinch himself and those kind of dark grungy colors, the greens. I think it really just captures the story very well. It is just such a beautiful palette. The packaging, like I said, is absolutely stunning. It's so eye-catching, and I think they did a phenomenal job on just the coloring and the story that they created with it. In terms of the actual product and the way that it applied, I really, really like the mattes. I think they blended really well. They go together very nicely. They created a very cohesive look. I like the shimmers as well. I will say I feel like a lot of the shimmers in here are really good topper shimmers or topper shades. They were very light, very iridescent, which is good for Christmas, but they definitely take a little bit of building up, especially this Mr. Grinch shade. I definitely had to really apply quite a bit to be able to get the color payoff that I want, but I do think it's worth it. I think the shimmers really show up very nicely once you've kind of built up that color, but it's definitely not a one swipe and done. It took a little bit of work and a little effort. The mattes were much easier to work with. They were really easy just to build up and to blend, and I didn't really have an issue with those, but the shimmers definitely took a little extra just love and care. So just keeping that in mind as you're looking at potentially making a purchase. but I definitely would really recommend this palette. I think it's really pretty. It's perfect for Christmas. I even kind of unintentionally made a Christmassy look just combining the greens with this shade down here, that Santa Claus. It was definitely a lot more red than it kind of looks in the pan. I thought it would be a little bit more on the kind of maroon side with some of the other shades, but it definitely comes out very red, and especially blending with those greens. So it's definitely perfect to make a beautiful shimmery Christmas look, and really just to make really pretty fall looks and other times of the year. It's really a very versatile palette just for a Christmas theme. So overall, I think this was a great palette. I really enjoy getting to use it, and I'm looking forward to making more looks with it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed creating this look with me today using the ColourPop How the Grinch Stole Christmas palette. I really enjoyed putting together this beautiful green inspired look, and I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you picked up this palette or any other items from the collection, and what are your thoughts about it? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you've made it this far and haven't already, then please consider subscribing to my channel. We do lots of fun makeup tutorials, reviews, and hauls here, and I would love to have you around. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you. I appreciate it, and your support means so much to me. Until next time, let's be kind to each other, beautiful to ourselves, and never afraid to make up the rules.